Yes, which is something so interesting because I think so many people wonder, like, well, what happened between like when he was born and when he's 30 and he's beginning his ministry? So why do you think there's such silence in the Gospels about the childhood of Jesus?
Well, it's a good question, and I'm not surprised at all because Jesus's ministry gets underway as an adult. And the New Testament teaches the incarnation, meaning that Jesus's humanity is real, and that would mean his childhood is real. And so there's a natural tendency later, and you see this in the second and third centuries, to exaggerate Jesus's childhood. so, so you get all this speculation about Jesus as an infant, healing people, doing amazing things, miracles, and so on. That's fiction. There's only one story we have in the Gospels, the first century Gospels, and that's Jesus as a 12-year-old who gets left behind when his parents join the caravan to go back up north to Galilee after Passover. Jesus hangs around in Jerusalem. There he is. A day later, they find him, and he's in the temple precincts with the teachers. It's interesting. Again, this is an example of restraint. If the Gospels wanted to exaggerate, the Gospel writers knew perfectly well that there were all kinds of legends and stories about Moses, about Roman emperors, prodigies when they were, young kids. They they did all kinds of amazing things. If you're not committed to truth, if you're not committed to history, why not make up a bunch of stories about Jesus? As in fact some did 100 years, 200 years later in what we call the infancy Gospels. But Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John don't do that. And so you have only one story with Jesus as a boy. And what does he do? He doesn't walk on water. He doesn't make clay pigeons fly. He's in the temple discussing theology and Bible with the professors. That's it. And Mary treasures this in her heart. So if you were to find the historical Mary and say, what do you remember about Jesus when he was a young lad? She'd say, man, he was keen about scripture and theology. He liked to talk about God. That's what I remember. This stuff later when he's a boy and can stretch boards and make clay pigeons fly and do all kinds of strange things, that's the same kind of imagination like we see in the Gospel of Peter, that's just reckless, apologetic, and imagination. And the church was wise to say that's baloney. It has no place in the Bible.